The crowd walks in one direction, noisy, hurried, distracted. Everyone repeats the same advice, wears the same ambition, follows the same road. But in the distance, quietly, there's someone walking alone. They're not faster, not stronger, not born with more, just different. They've made a choice most avoid, to think independently. The truth is uncomfortable. Most people never win because they never truly think, they imitate. They inherit beliefs, traditions, expectations, and never question the roots. They swim with the current, unaware it's pulling them away from everything they truly want. To win in a world of sameness, you must think differently. Not randomly, not rebelliously, but deeply, deliberately. Contrarian thinking isn't just about saying no to the masses. It's about understanding what the masses never see. It's the beginning of real success. This is the story of those who did. In the Roman Empire, crowds filled colosseums, not for insight, but for entertainment. The mob cheered what it was told to cheer, hated what it was told to hate. Even then, thinkers like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius saw the danger in blindly following the crowd. They taught that peace, power, and clarity come only when one turns inward. Most don't. It's easier to blend in than stand up. Conformity feels safe. It promises belonging. It avoids criticism. But that safety is an illusion. Because the cost of fitting in is often your soul's potential. The ones who win understand this early. They are not afraid to disappoint, to be misunderstood, to walk alone. Because they know, the road to greatness is rarely crowded. Every age has its mob. In the 21st century, it isn't the Colosseum. It's the algorithm, social approval, the dopamine rush of likes, the pressure to echo the group's values, goals, and outrage. But the winners? They disconnect. They choose thought over applause. They read books instead of headlines. They journal instead of scroll. They don't need to be liked. They need to become. The average mind seeks shortcuts, hacks, the fastest path. But winners? They reverse the question. Instead of asking, how can I succeed fast? They ask, what am I willing to suffer for? Instead of chasing what's popular, they chase what's true. Contrarian thinking isn't about rebellion. It's about asking better questions. Why does this work? Why do people assume that? What happens if I do the opposite? Socrates walked the streets of Athens not with answers, but with questions. That made him dangerous. Because once you start thinking for yourself, no one can control you. Charlie Munger, the billionaire partner of Warren Buffett, says, invert, always invert. Want to be rich? Ask why people stay broke. Want to be wise? Study how people stay ignorant. This mindset of thinking in reverse builds clarity. Because while most seek confirmation, the contrarian mind seeks contradiction. It's not just learning, it's unlearning. Ask why others rush and slow down. Ask why people avoid pain and lean into it. Ask why everyone wants fame and choose mastery. Most people fear failure. They run from it, bury it, avoid it. Winners don't. They mine it. They understand that failure is information, a mirror, a teacher. But only if you face it fully. The average person fails and blames. The winner fails and studies. This mindset isn't normal, but it's powerful. When Elon Musk risked everything on rockets and electric cars, most experts mocked him. He wasn't special. He just thought differently about risk. While others avoided failure, he used it like fuel. In contrarian thinking, pain is not punishment, it's preparation. Failure for most is final. For the few, it's feedback. Look at Thomas Edison, over 1,000 failed attempts before inventing the light bulb. Look at J.K. Rowling, dozens of rejections before Harry Potter. Mandela, 27 years in prison before becoming president. They didn't think like victims. They thought like builders. Contrarian minds reframe every fall as foundation. While others ask, "Why me?" they ask, "What now?" Winners develop emotional endurance. They welcome discomfort. They expect adversity. Not because they like pain, but because they know that pressure creates precision. The world screams. Social media, news, opinions, noise. Everyone is talking. Very few are thinking. The great minds, Da Vinci, Aurelius, Einstein, had one thing in common. They spent long hours in solitude, thinking, reflecting, disconnecting from the crowd to connect with clarity. Winners understand that silence is not emptiness. It's a space where truth speaks. Contrarian thinkers guard their attention like treasure, because they know the mind becomes what it consumes. If you think like everyone else, you'll live like everyone else. But silence carves space for originality. Silence is discipline. In silence, new questions form. Real priorities rise, and the noise fades. In a world that moves fast, the winner slows down. Meditation, walks without phones, reading philosophy. These aren't luxuries, they're weapons. Every time you choose silence, you train the muscle of clarity, and clarity is rare. That's why it's powerful. Most people inherit identity, culture, background, labels, but winners craft it. They are not what others call them. They are what they consistently choose to become. Contrarian thinkers don't just act differently. They are different by design. They reject inherited limitations. They reshape their internal narrative. Where others say, "I can't," they ask, "What would happen if I could?" They define themselves not by circumstances, but by values, discipline, integrity, vision. And once that identity is forged, the world bends to match it. Because when your mind is yours, everything else eventually follows. The Stoics believed in becoming your philosophy, not just thinking it, living it. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your identity. So build one that is uncommon. Identity is not fixed, it's forged. Every habit, every choice, every day. And the more intentional you become, the more powerful you grow. Winners choose identity based on who they must become, not who they've been. Validation is a drug, easy to get, hard to quit. It makes you feel seen, but it keeps you small. Winners trade it for vision. While others chase applause, they chase purpose. Steve Jobs didn't build Apple by asking what people wanted. He built what they didn't know they needed. Visionaries aren't blind optimists. They're disciplined realists with courage. They see what could be and move toward it while others wait for permission. When you choose vision, you offend the status quo. You'll be doubted, mocked, ignored. But vision doesn't need validation. It needs belief. Most people seek feedback too early. They ask others to rate their dreams before they've even begun. Winners build in silence and let results speak. Vision is lonely at first, but eventually it becomes legacy. To think differently is not free. It costs comfort, approval, and certainty. It demands courage. But it also grants the one thing everyone wants and few achieve: a life that is truly your own. You cannot win by thinking like everyone else, because everyone else is waiting, blaming, hoping. But the winner chooses to question, to think, to walk alone, to become. And in that quiet rebellion, success is born.